Hi, this is Dr. Vasquez with the Graduate Writing Hub at Anderson University, and this is a mini lesson that describes what is a business case. So first, let's talk about our objectives for this mini lesson. We're going to review what exactly a case is, the purpose of learning with cases, and understanding the difference between a case and a case study. Let's start with some tips for watching these mini lessons. Definitely you want to listen. You might need some headphones. Make sure you're writing notes. So you'd probably want to pause this video, get your pen and paper, your Word document, your tablet, whatever it is that you use to take notes. And in those notes, have an area so that you can list questions for later. Okay, so let's get started. So, case versus case study. The simple definition is a case is the thing that you read, and the case study is your analysis of the case. So, the case you read, you're generally assigned by your instructor. The case study is the thing that you're going to write about the case. So, this video is about what a case is, so let's talk about that. A case is a description of an actual or fictional situation commonly involving a decision, a challenge, an opportunity, a problem, or an issue faced by a person or persons in an organization. So a case is something that is researched usually by graduate students or professors, and they write it up and have it published, and generally it is about a real situation at a real organization. There are different types of cases, so the most common ones lately are real cases about real companies. There are also fictional cases where essentially information about a real company has been fictionalized for various reasons. And then there are the types of cases where common issues that companies in certain industries have are sort of put together like a gumbo and made into a case. So it's not necessarily about one company, it's about a problem that happens at a lot of companies, and they use specifics from multiple cases. So the information from a case can come from a lot of places. It is a good idea to look up the company described in your case to see if it is a real company or not. So on the screen there is a picture of an upside down triangle, and this is meant to show the organization of a case. So it is an upside down triangle because the top of the triangle is wider and it has more general information. That's what the wideness of that upside down triangle is meant to show. And as you read further and further into the case itself, it will focus, which is why the point of the triangle is at the bottom. So it comes to a point literally while you're reading a case. So the top of this inverted paragraph starts with the opening paragraph. Inverted pyramid starts with the opening paragraph. And so you will generally have some sort of introduction to the organization or the issue that they're having. Some case writers like to make a scene. So Bob was walking down by the wharves thinking about his business or something like that. And some just jump directly into it. Even though this may seem like a writing flourish of some sort of the writer, it is actually giving you information about something about the company that you should take note of. If you're reading that Bob is walking down the wharf thinking about his company, Bob might be the decision maker, and the wharf might have something to do with the location of the company, the issue that they're having, etc. The next part of the case is organization and background. Here is where the writers will get into whatever is most pertinent about the background of the organization for your understanding of this case. So they will talk about the structure of the company, the products they make, services they might offer, the industry itself, the competition, the history. There's a lot of things that they might talk about here. Bear in mind, all this information is considered pertinent to resolving the case, And it's also meant to give the reader an understanding of all of the context of like what's up with this industry, this organization, etc. The next part of the case is generally will be funneled down to the specific area of interest. So you've got general information about the organization and perhaps the industry that it is situated in. Next, the case will generally focus into what part of the organization is having an issue. So, is it the management? Is it a PR issue? Are the products faulty? Is something going on with the services? Are they having a labor issue? And so it'll focus into that. The next part is the specific problem or decision. So once we get the area of interest, so what area of the organization are we focusing in on, then we will get to the actual issue at hand. Again, remember, we often say problem when we're talking about cases, but sometimes it is an opportunity. So perhaps they made an excess revenue and they want to reinvest into the organization, and they're thinking about where they can do that, where they would get the most return. Or maybe they're making a decision such as we have this new position opening and we have very qualified in-house candidates. Who should we hire? So it's not always a problem. Anyhow, after the case focuses down into the specific problem, you might get a few things. Some cases will actually give you the alternatives. So alternatives are solutions or choices. We call them alternatives because that's just a more general term. Not all cases will tell you what you have to decide, what options you have to decide between. Some of them might suggest specific options. Some of them might give you like a way of thinking or point you in a direction, and some might just be open-ended. So this alternatives section of the pyramid may or may not be there. Finally, you will have a conclusion, which will set you, the reader, up with a task of resolving whatever issue this organization has. Sometimes deadlines are set. So somebody wants an answer within 24 hours. You will have a hearing in the next month. The board meeting is on Monday. Sometimes you will have a deadline like that, and sometimes you won't. If there's no deadline, you will definitely have to infer how urgent is this issue and how quickly do I have to do something. Generally, when you're reading a case, you're not going to come into a situation where you can give a 5-year plan or something like that. Usually the cases have much more urgent issues that you need to address. So bear those things in mind. And also remember that just because an actor in the case says you have 24 hours to give me your answer, that doesn't mean you have to take 24 hours. That could be artificial pressure as well. So now that we have an idea of what a case is and how it's organized, it's good to think of what is the purpose of studying with a case. Studying with cases is very common in business programs. Harvard spearheaded this over 100 years ago. And it's meant to do several things. So simulate reality. So even if you have a background or a career in business, you still want to stretch your business knowledge and your understanding of various situations. So you would do that through a simulation before you go out in the field. Your instructor may want you to apply theories and concepts. So whatever theories you're learning in your class, you can assume that your instructor wants you to be able to apply those to situations in cases. You are also expected to develop data interpretation and prioritizing skills. So data interpretation is what information are you given in the case, and what sense can you make of it? Prioritizing is sometimes the task at hand is sort of sifting through all the problems described in the case and identifying one that is the most important and urgent that should be addressed first. So one of the tricks of working with cases is that problems are messy, they're complex and multi-layered. So part of what you're being asked to do is to learn how to figure out which one takes priority and therefore should be worked on first. Also, developing and applying business thinking. So moving away from personal opinions and thinking more about what is the decision criteria for this organization, what is the organization's mission and vision, what are the desired outcomes for the organization, and not just, if this was me, I would do this, because it's not a personal problem, it's a much larger organizational issue. And of course, developing that bank of business knowledge. So no matter where you are in your career, you can always learn more about various issues that might come up in your industry or in business in general, and how they are successfully handled so that you can apply that into your career. So remember, as we're wrapping up here, a case is the thing that you read, and a case study is your analysis of a case. Make sure you understand that those two phrases are not interchangeable. They're different things. And make sure you understand what is your position in interacting with both of these things. In reading a case, you are the audience member. In writing the case study, you are actively solving the problem. So now that we know the difference between case and case analysis or case study, you can move on to the next video, which is about how to write a case study. And if you've jotted down any questions, I strongly suggest you take those to your professor in the classroom, discussion board, synchronous or asynchronous, whatever opportunities you have to discuss with them. Thank you for being here, and have a great day.